This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. $2,000 stimulus checks are going out to certain Americans, and I'll let you know the 7 states that are giving out stimulus payments for the month of October. Bernie Sanders goes against the Democratic Party, talking about how to turn this country around. I'll play you the video clip of what he says there, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a more than mundane Monday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you want more daily, straight to the point updates. Let's get into it. So, Biden administration extends COVID public health emergency. I'm really curious what your thoughts are about this. So basically, this is going to be extended until January 11th. And I'm just really curious, what do you think? Is it over? Are we over COVID? Should it be extended, the public emergency? Let me know your thoughts, whether or not this should be extended or not. Moving on, let's get into stimulus. Stimulus update. These 7 states are sending stimulus payments in October. So many consumers are struggling with skyrocketing living costs. Let's go over the different states. So California sending out between $200 and $1,050 checks. That's going out now in October. Delaware sending $300 checks. And Georgia sending out $500 checks for couples, $250 for singles. Hawaii sending out up to between $100 and $300 checks, although I just reported that there is a paper shortage and looks like those are going to be delayed. I think it might still go out for October. Illinois, $100 tax rebates there. That should be sent out in October. And then Indiana, $125 checks there. Virginia sending out $250 for individuals, $500 for couples. Those are supposed to set to go out mid-October, I think now until the end of the year. And yeah, those are the states there. Then we have the $2,000 check. So in North Carolina, up to $2,000, Wake County Public School System in North Carolina approved a plan that would give teachers bonus checks worth up to $2,000. The following groups are eligible: so elementary school English and second language teachers, kindergarten through 5th grade teachers, instruction specialists, special education instructors who teach the regular curriculum, and a few others. So I'm really curious. $2,000 checks going out to teachers. Is this the right thing to do for this county in North Carolina? Should other states and cities and counties and school systems do this? Or should $2,000 checks go out to maybe different groups of people? Maybe people on fixed income, Social Security, veterans. Should those groups get $2,000 checks as well? Let me know your thoughts on that. And then when it comes to $2,000 checks, so Bernie Sanders presses Joe Biden on $2,000 stimulus checks, saying promises must be kept. Should the $2,000 federal stimulus check make a comeback? Is now the right time to give out $2,000 checks? Would that help you? Let me know your thoughts on that. Speaking of Bernie Sanders, here is what he has to say to turn this country around.
Many Democratic candidates, if not most, are embracing a focus on one particular potent issue in their closing messages to voters ahead of the midterm elections.
The only candidate fighting for abortion rights.
I'll never stop fighting for your right to choose.
Politico reports that Democratic candidates, campaigns, and supportive super PACs have spent nearly $18 million to air more than 100 abortion rights-centered broadcast TV ads in some 4 dozen battleground states. But Senator Bernie Sanders says that focus, exclusive focus, is a huge mistake. Senator Sanders is with us. Thanks so much for joining us. Tell us why you think that's a mistake.
Well, Jake, first of all, I happen to believe that the Supreme Court decision overturning Roe versus Wade is an absolute outrage. I think Democrats have got to fight to make sure that it is women who control their own bodies, not the government. So I think this is a very important issue. But I don't believe it can be the only issue. At a time when we have an economy in which the wealthiest people, the billionaire class, are getting much, much richer while working people are struggling to put food on the table, it goes without saying that we have got to focus on the economy and demand that we have a government that works for all of us and not just wealthy campaign contributors. And the irony here is Republicans say, they talk about the economy. Really, not one of them is going to vote to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. Not one of them is going to vote for legislation that makes it easier for workers to join unions. Not one of them is going to vote to do what every other major country on earth does and guarantee health care for all people, nor will they vote to raise taxes on billionaires at a time when the richest people in this country, in some cases, pay nothing in federal income tax. So I happen to think the Republican line is phony, and Democrats have got to respond.
So might the concern be among Democratic strategists that, hey, Democrats are the party in power, underlying the economic problems that you just underlined, might be underlying the failure of the Democratic Party, which controls the House, the Senate, and the White House, to deliver?
Well, that's simply just not accurate. The truth is that inflation, which is a very serious problem in our country, is a global problem. In the UK and in Europe, in many cases, it is worse than it is here in the United States. So to blame Joe Biden for it just doesn't make any sense at all. What the inflation crisis is about is broken supply chains. It's the war in Ukraine. And I'll tell you, Jake, what else it's about. It's about the incredible level of corporate greed that we are now seeing. People go to the gas pumps. Prices are very high, lower than they were a while ago, but too high. Understand that the oil companies, the big oil companies, ExxonMobil and the others, are making record-breaking profits. You can't afford prescription drugs? Well, understand that the pharmaceutical industry is making huge profits. Food industry, huge profits. So in my view, what's been going on is a lot of these large corporations are taking advantage of the terrible war in the Ukraine, taking advantage of the breaks in supply chain, and just raising prices to an outrageous level. And I think we've got to go after them on that.
What do you make of the argument from Democratic former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, who last year was sounding the alarm about inflation, saying that the government had been pumping too much money into the economy, both during the early days of COVID, starting with Trump and throughout the first year of the Biden administration? He was warning that inflation was going to be really bad, and now he's saying, essentially, I told you so.
Yeah, well, I guess he told the government of the UK that, and he told governments all over the world. Inflation is a global problem. In many countries, it is worse than it is in the United States. Now, Larry Summers, I know Larry, and does a good job representing his Wall Street interests. But I think it is time we had a government that stood up for working families. And the questions that we should be asking ourselves is, why do we pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs when the pharmaceutical industry makes huge profits? Why are we the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people? Why do you have half of the elderly people in this country earning less than $25,000 a year, and you got Republicans out there who want to cut Social Security, they want to cut Medicare, they want to cut Medicaid so they can give more tax breaks to their billionaire friends? Those are the kinds of issues that we need to be discussing, in my view.
Right, but that's my point. I mean, the issues that you feel passionately about, paid family and medical leave, college affordability, home health care, housing child care assistance,
Right.
you tried to get all those things done. They got cut from the Democratic proposal. I mean, there are Democrats out there, progressives, who are big Bernie Sanders supporters, who are saying, why should we vote for Democrats? Bernie, you've been fighting the good fight, but all that stuff got stripped from the legislation that passed the House and Senate.
Jake, good question.
Go ahead.
All right, Jake, that is an excellent question. And let me give you the simple answer. The simple answer is, with President Biden's strong support, we presented a piece of legislation called Build Back Better, which in many ways would have done more for the working class and the middle class of this country than any legislation passed in the last 50 or 60 years. It was transformative. We had zero Republican support, not one Republican who believed that we should deal with child care, that we should deal with health care, that we should deal with education. Not one Republican supporting it. Unfortunately, in a Senate that is 50-50, 50 Republicans, 50 people in the Democratic caucus, there were two corporate Democrats who chose not to support what the president and I and the vast majority of the caucus wanted. That's the reality. We had 48 votes. We couldn't get 50. My hope is that we will elect 2 more Democrats, so we'll have 52 in the Senate, so that we can begin to address the long neglected needs of working families. It is just not acceptable that we have more income and wealth inequality today than we've ever had in this country. It's not acceptable that you got 500,000 people who are homeless in America, rents are soaring, and we're not building the kind of low and moderate income housing that we need. We need an agenda that speaks to the needs of working families and not wealthy campaign contributors.
Senator Bernie Sanders, always good to hear your views. Please come back. We love having you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
What are your thoughts on what Bernie Sanders said? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella, tip of the day. I want to say that never let bad vibes take over you. You have to let the good vibes just let you free. You have to always be good and always be humble and always be great to everybody. And I love making these tip of the days for you guys because you guys are my friends. Bye! I want to do tip of the day. I'm going to do tip of the day. Hi guys. Hi. This is my tip of the day. I want to say don't go on the road. If you cross, you'll get smushed. And have a great day. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. If you want to support the channel in a free way, just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that YouTube stuff. And yeah, we had a good rest of the weekend. The girls went to a farm yesterday, did some farm stuff, and had a good time. Hopefully you had a good rest of your weekend. If you want to check out any of my other videos, my other channels, click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.